Just want to get a shot of this. It's windy. This is probably going to pick up on the mic, sorry. So, gas can. Not quite full. I put it about 4.5 gallons, so hopefully it doesn't overflow quite as much. At least a week's worth of laundry. Yeah, it's doing fine. Getting a lot of noise off of, it's actually a new chain, new rear sprocket, but the front sprocket is just totally hammered. So I might stop riding this until I get the new motor. For anybody who didn't see this or doesn't remember, this is the stock sprocket for this motor, and this is a stock KLR sprocket for the 520 chain. They aren't the same, right? Now I'm not sure if the motor itself is giving me trouble. I think it always had a little bit of backlash there, but I'm getting a lot of rattly noise. This sprocket was pretty worn out when I put it on. For the KLR, matches the chain, matches the rear wheel. It's easier to stay that way. This little sprocket is the sprocket that came with the motor. It's a matter of how you key the sprocket to the shaft. The little sprocket is keyed to the shaft for the motor. They're not compatible between the two. So I just took this one and welded it to this one. You can see some of the weld there. And that's been working okay. But I didn't want to do that to a good sprocket, so I took the worn out sprocket. Okay. So new chain we just put on, that's helped a little bit, but then it actually made it a little bit worse because these were really hooked. So I went after it with a grinder and just took some of the hooking off. Yeah. Anyway, got another trip to town out of it anyway. So I think I'm going to stop riding this until I can get things fixed a little better. Also, it's really cold right now. So if I'm broken down on the side of the road, I don't want to be broken down with this. I think I'll just take the bicycle. I can deal with that easier. Anyway, what I wanted to show you though, this is the new cargo rack system. And there's a video that I have shot when I was building parts of this. This loop goes up, across, and down the other side, and then the same with this one. And there is just enough room between the silver part of the stock KLR frame and this white part is a piece of plastic that's part of the seat frame, the seat itself. And so this plastic is bolted to the frame, and there's just enough room between that this 3/4 inch square tubing slides right through between the bottom of the seat and the top of the frame. So it just slides right through. At the moment, this is not attached to this at all. It's just kind of sitting there. But this piece here is welded, and that is using one of the foot peg mounts. I'm right in my shadow, sorry. Okay, right here. Okay, that'll work. That's one of the foot peg mounts for the passenger seat. So I got a piece of angle coming out, and then it picks up here, and this is welded to this, okay? And that's been on here for a few days now. And then I added this part on the bottom, and this actually is removable. I just take this bolt out, and then this bottom part comes off. It's got a 6-inch piece of square 1-inch tubing that comes out on here and here, and that's welded to these pieces, and these pieces slip fit over this piece, and so I can unbolt this and take this off. Okay, I've already stood on that. That's ridiculously strong. That's completely fine. There's just a little bit of flex here because it's only attached here and not here, and so it does move a little bit, but not very much. So you can kind of see same there as here. Okay, and for clearance, because the wheel will come up if I hit a big bump, I set them out just a little bit, and then it's got room for the swing arm to come up. So I can carry, as it is now, I could put a gas can on each side. The shelf was only 6 inches wide, so the shelf only comes out to here, all right? So almost half of the can. What I learned on the On the bicycle, I made a similar kind of a bracket setup, and as long as I had something to sit a box on and then run the ratchet strap around it, it was fine. I didn't have to stick it out very far. I think the bicycle was only 3 inches or something like that. It was, you know, just really just a little shelf. But once I had the strap on, it was fine. I am probably going to redo the stock cargo rack system. And I've got another video that shows a bunch of that. So there's a bolt here. In fact, right now, that's the only thing that's in there, right? And then there's also bolt holes here that hold the centerpiece. This side is a casting, the one on the other side is a casting. The signal light is bolted to the casting. Now that this part is done, I'm going to, basically where this handle is, there's a rack that goes underneath where this giant box is. The rack is only small enough, I mean, you got enough room to put a lunch bag, is about all that they really thought you'd ever put on there. And I need something a lot bigger, so I think I'm going to just take the whole, what they gave you off, and rebuild a new one. And then when I get that done, I'll have basically the part that comes up, part that goes across, part that goes down, and then I'm going to extend this out and come around the back of the rear wheel so that the sides are tied together. And then there's another piece that's going to go from here up at an angle, and then that'll attach to the new cargo racks. It'll all be really strong. Also, I've got replacement bolts coming for the factory subframe, which all of the, basically the seat and everything behind it are attached here and up here. That whole piece comes off. There's an upgraded bolt kit that I have coming that will just make that all stronger. If you didn't have a big load on the back, it would be fine, but if you start, you know, carrying all your big stuff, then you need a little bit of extra insurance, and then we'll be good to go. But as it is, it's good enough for 400 pounds, so I'm not likely to hit that, but because of how rough the road is, a 100-pound load over a big bump could be enough to break something. So yeah, anyway, so this box completely full of laundry, not super heavy, and then about 4.5 gallons of gas. And that rode just fine. I had to keep looking back to make sure it was still there. You really don't notice that it's on there. So, and a little piece of packing foam underneath. I'm trying to protect the gas can because, like on this side, well, both sides, I got bolt heads sticking up to hold that on there. So I just put a piece of foam. I'm going to probably use Harbor Freight floor mats on top of that. Plus that'll give it a little bit of traction, so anything that's on there won't be as likely to slip off. Between that and in this case I just used tarp straps. Those worked fine. Most of the weight is held up by the shelf on the bottom. The straps are just holding it in place, so that seems like it's working fine. Yeah, that's that.